Hi, I'm Dr. Chad Larson. Thank you for joining me in another episode of Keep It Real. Today I'm going to keep it real and I'm going to keep it pretty short. I just want to do a little quick research update. And I've mentioned before in past episodes about the importance of us understanding the effects and the causes of Alzheimer's disease. Alzheimer's disease is, really needs no introduction, but it's the most common form of dementia that's out there, and it affects the whole Western world, and it has major socioeconomic and even family stresses. And it's a major condition that is being studied by lots of researchers right now because it's only increasing, and with the aging boomer generation, it's set to increase even more. And so it's something that we're trying to understand a little bit more about. And so I just wanted to update you a bit on a recent scientific report that was published actually just earlier this month, and in a journal called Scientific Reports. And they discussed something pretty interesting. What they figured out is that the gastrointestinal microbiome, which is the accumulation of all of the bacteria in the gut, which, remember, could be anywhere between like 3 and 5 pounds plus of bacteria. And it's an very important, almost ecosystem that we depend on just as much as those bacteria depend on us to live. And so it's a very key component in our bodies. But what they've learned is that for a variety of factors, that bacterial ecosystem can become imbalanced, and that imbalance can promote inflammation. And if those inflammatory chemicals get outside of the gut into the circulation, they can travel throughout the bloodstream and even other passageways up to the brain, and it can be let's say it could cause inflammation and immune hyperactivation in the brain, which could lead to neurodegeneration, neuroinflammation, and then that is kind of the beginnings of Alzheimer's disease. So you might be wondering, well, what's the little bit of bacteria in the gut? What's the big deal? And so here's the thing is, are we human or are we bacteria? And so you go, well, I'm pretty sure I'm human, but let's consider what makes us human. Let's look at the number of cells in the human body. So the number of cells in the human body is about 10 trillion. So 10 trillion human cells, and let's compare that to how many bacterial cells we're harboring at any given time. On average, we're harboring at any time about 100 trillion bacterial cells. So by that measurement, we're way more bacteria by a factor of 10 than we are human. So then we go, well, it's our DNA, it's our genes that really make us human. Our DNA is the blueprint of what makes us human. So really, it's the DNA, it's the genes that make us human. So all right, let's consider those numbers. So depending on what you count, our human genes total about 20,000. And at any given time, we're harboring between 2 million to 20 million bacterial genes. So any way you measure it, we're far more bacteria than we are human. Interesting, right? So we really need to care about this microbiome that we're learning more and more about. And certainly in this regard, we need to understand how it influences the brain. And what we've understood so far from current literature is that the human gut microbiome, we know that influences the function of the brain from this latest study, and it can increase the chance of getting Alzheimer's disease if there's an imbalance in the gut microbiome. So what influences the health of the microbiome? And other research has told us that diet is a major influencer of the gut microbiome. And so really what it comes down to is, by maintaining a healthy diet, by making healthy food choices, it helps to promote a healthier gut microbiome. And if we have a healthier gut microbiome, then we're going to have a healthier brain. there's many applications that we can think of. We can think about things like depression and anxiety and ADD and ADHD and all these kind of brain-based issues. We can start to think outside of the typical thought process on some of these conditions. Remember, one of my goals with the show is to challenge the status quo and dig into the literature and find out if there's some other options that we can discuss. And so what we've learned about the gut microbiome and the things that influence it is that really it's diet. And so the things that promote a more unhealthy gut microbiome is basically the things that are common in the standard Western diet, which is high sugar foods and bad unhealthy fats. And the flip side of that is very healthy for the gut microbiome. A plant-based diet that has lean, healthy animal proteins and healthy sources of fat. And so you could start today by supporting the health of your brain by making better food choices at your next meal. It's very empowering information. It's information that you can start applying right away, and you could do something good for your brain. So I just want to make this quick. I just wanted to give you a little research update. I hope you learned something, and take a look at the little ocean view in the background. That's my little lunchtime treat today. So I'll talk to you soon. Hope you learned something. Keep it real.